that India should develop into a good shipbuilding nation, and a couple of other things were there, including training was one of them, port development one of them. Now, in all the fields, wherever we need to develop, training is an important aspect, and to put the training into practice is where we need leaders and mentors. So we do need leaders and we do need mentors. Now, what you're seeing here on the slide is taken from the Nautical Institute. This is how they introduced the course on mentoring, and it says 70% of professional knowledge comes from various forms of informal learning. That's important. That's what I'm looking at. Mentoring would give you more than 70% of informal learning. So I'm looking at the aspect of mentoring from a mentor and a mentee, both the perspectives. If you look at this, it says what is mentoring? Essentially helping people to develop more effectively, and a relationship designed to help people build confidence and help the learners increasing initiative for their own development. So obviously, if you have to develop, it is your initiative because it is your career. You have to decide what exactly you want. So a mentee plays a more important role in terms of learning. A mentor plays a role in terms of guiding. Now the next one here is learn what mentoring is all about. It's basically a partnership between a mentor and a mentee, sharing experience, expertise, etc. to enhance the career of the mentee, and the mentor also gains. So what does it take to be a mentor, as it says here, and what does a mentor get out of it? That is important. What are the mentee's responsibilities and what the mentee gets out of it? So the mentor, the first thing he gets is, he must have a desire, He should be willing, he should have a desire to hand over the baton. That means he should have a desire to hand over to the mentee whatever he has learned all along in his career and how he would like the mentee to go ahead. That's the first thing. That is where the desire comes in. The next is the time. And that of course is there. The mentor must be willing to spend a lot of time with the mentee. Unless he does that, the mentee will not be able to learn too many things. Reality check. Again, a mentor should be able to give the mentee a reality check. That means what he is doing and what are his capabilities, probably also giving him direction and telling him, okay, you could look in this direction. That's more important. And then individual career development, what the mentee wants and how the mentor can tell him what are the other fields where he can diversify depending on the capabilities of the mentee. So the mentor's role is pretty much important for the mentee. The mentor should be, as I said, pass on success, hand over the baton, tell him, okay, now you need to take it forward. Practice interpersonal and management skills. Now, interpersonal management is pretty important because the mentor should be able to interact with the mentee, manage how the mentee progresses. That's where the management skills will come in, and how he's going to interact with the mentee. Become a role model. Once the mentor becomes a role model, he will get more and more mentees. That's what is important. And let me clarify here, it is not me who tells somebody that, okay, I will be your mentor, but it is the mentee who decides that I would want to go to this mentor. So your role model becomes very, very important, and that is how the mentees will look at you in terms of a mentor. Expanding their horizons. Now, a mentor also gets to learn in this process. And when he is learning in this process, his horizons are also expanding. So it's not just that the mentee's horizon is expanding, but the mentor's horizon is also expanding. And mentor actually gains more than the mentee. That's my personal opinion. You may or may not agree to it. But I feel a mentor will gain more rather than the mentee, because once the mentor starts listening, his horizons broaden. And then he gains more. He is looking at more and more things rather than the mentee. What are the mentee's responsibilities? Willing to learn. Now, obviously, if he is not willing to learn and not willing to go further, then the mentor cannot really do much. Ability to accept feedback. Here I would say the feedback should be constructive, which will help him to develop further. Willing to stretch. Now when the mentor is saying something or guiding you in a particular way, as a mentee, are you willing to put in those extra hours to try and achieve what you want to achieve? That is important. So the mentee should be willing to stretch, and he should be able to identify goals. Now here, when the mentee is identifying his goals along with the mentor, then the mentor must ensure that the goals are, as we say, SMART goals. That means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So the goal setting which is done between the mentee and the mentor, but for the mentee, should follow this principle of SMART goals. I'm running through a little bit because I know we are on time constraint. What does mentee get out of it again? He gets a listening ear. This is what the mentor must be very good at. He should be a very active listener. And I'm not talking of hearing. Hearing and listening, I'm sure you all know, are two different things. Listening is hearing with the intention of using that information. Right? So mentee gets a good listening ear. That is very important. He also gets